It's not like denying how you feel at the moment,
Right.
but realizing, okay, if I am feeling anxiety, why is that? What's the truth in it? And most times it's a lie. It's not something that's happened at that moment, and knowing you have the power to shift into that different energy.
How I love to vibe when I'm vibing with you. How I love to vibe when the vibing is true. How I love to vibe when I'm vibing with you. We're vibing, we're vibing, we're vibing, we're vibing. It's Mike and Cass vibing out.
What up, what up?
Hello. Welcome,
Hello, beautiful
welcome.
spirit.
Hello, beautiful spirit. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you today?
I'm doing well, very grateful to be here with you and with you beautiful people out there.
Thank you for joining us
Yes,
today.
yes. Welcome to Mike and Cass vibing out. This is Cass, I'm Mike. As always, we are here to be a channel, to be a vessel of unconditional love for you, to make you feel rooted for, to know that you are supported, that you are not only seen, but you're heard. So make sure you reach out to us. Don't just hear us, reach out to us. And also we're here to be a catalyst for you reaching your unlimited potential. So just open up your mind and your heart and take that in for the day.
Yes.
And as always, contact us on our social media.
Yeah, and vibe out with us every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We post a new episode wherever you're watching this on YouTube. Go ahead, grab some merch from us too. We just came out with that probably a little bit ago after when you're actually seeing this now, but it's new to us, so super exciting. And we post on YouTube, we post on every podcast platform, full episodes, and then if you want some little minis, behind the scenes, all that good fun stuff, that's on TikTok, Instagram at MKVibingOut. So go follow us there.
Yes.
We love having you.
Today I'm excited about the topic.
It'll be a good one, y'all. Our minds will be expanded.
Yes, tapping into the unlimited power of the mind. But as always, before we get started, I want you to join us in a few conscious deep breaths to recenter into this now moment. If you are watching this from home, please take a minute just to close your eyes, to be still, to surrender, to open up your mind and your heart. If you're driving, you can still join us in the conscious breath, but don't close your eyes. All right. Start by closing your eyes. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and hold it, sustain the breath. Set an intention for whatever you need for the day, more love, more peace, more power, forgiveness, whatever it is, set an intention and release. And as always, notice how you feel.
Cozy.
Yes,
Especially
feel more
with the
centered.
pillows.
Yeah,
Nice.
those pillows are super soft. You're making me jealous now.
I just
gotta
want
pull
to
mine
get
out.
everything.
Gotta pull the pillow out. A little time, but hopefully you feel more centered into this moment. As we always say, make sure you make it an actual habit and practice for you. You can just set an alarm a few times a day to take 3 conscious breaths. It will change your life. It's a self-love practice to check in with yourself. How am I doing? How am I feeling? If I haven't been built up a little bit of stress or anxiety, it's a chance to restart your day. Notice that you're safe. Notice that you're loved, that you're in a good place, and start again. And you can picture us smiling at you, rooting for you,
waving,
you up.
vibing out.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into it.
Yes, we shall. So the power of your mind. If you have listened to our content, you're interested in this type of stuff, you've probably heard a little bit about this, right? But we can go in all different directions when it comes to how powerful our minds are. And there's a couple key things that I wanted to kind of focus on that have been prominent to me. And one of the things that just came up was the placebo effect, and how that's a more scientific way of looking at it, to start with that, of just how efficient that really is. And that can already just open your mind up to be like, wait, this is possible. Because a lot of times, even if we know certain things are possible, or we kind of we look at them and we look at other people and we see how powerful our minds are, their minds are, it's like hard to really believe and feel into. But then when we see something that's so like evidence-based and scientific and that kind of traditional form of how we measure things, then it can be like, okay, wait, there's something more to this, you know? So that popped up as something to me. I read the book, it was by Joe Dispenza, You Are the Placebo. And that opened my eyes so much to, you know, like health benefits of the placebo effect and that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's a range of like the percentages of where, like how it works and everything, but it, you know, is efficient. I think it's somewhere between 15 to 70% of the time, which is like, it's never 0%, which I think is so interesting. That means it always works.
Right. One example, definitely the power of the mind. And I just, you know, going even more general, like your mind affects literally every aspect of your life, you know? So if you are new to this, you know, allow your mind and heart to be open and just realize that your mind, and meaning your thoughts and how you process things, literally affects every aspect of your life. It affects your immune system, your overall health and well-being, your nervous system. It affects your relationships. It affects how you literally navigate through this life and how you live your life, you know, to the degree of you feeling your well-being every day. What do you wake up feeling more just positive and blissful? You know, are you know, your mind literally affects everything. So wouldn't it be a good idea to learn how to become more conscious and to learn how to control your mind, which, you know, it's a daunting task, you know. So a couple helpful ones I just want to just drop before I forget is that, you know, they say we have about 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, which is crazy. There's no way in hell you can like be conscious of every thought that's coming through your head. But a couple of things to be conscious of is that positive thoughts are hundreds of more times more powerful than negative thoughts. The negative thoughts, you know, take time to more so set in. If they're sustained and they're just part of your regular well-being, then they take their effect on your life. But the positive thoughts are more positive, like more powerful than the negative. That's really important to remember. Other than that, also, what are your thoughts? What have you noticed for your own life? Like just like the power of thinking.
In thoughts, well, I think it's that whenever you have a certain type of thought, like you said, you can't, you know, keep track of every single thought you have throughout the day. It's thousands and thousands of them, but you could try categorizing them a little bit. See like the general energy of the thoughts you have in a regular day. You'll find out when, you know, you're just in kind of your regular everyday like routine that maybe for half the day or a little bit more, your thoughts have a certain energy surrounding them. Maybe it's an energy of anxiety. Maybe it's an energy of guilt or of gratitude or, you know, a certain type of energy. And that's where I've noticed, like, you know, you can have all different types of thoughts, but that go with the same thing, go with the same like energy vibration. And so when you change just a few a day, start with a few minutes of intentional thinking, right? So listening to some affirmations, saying them out loud, just specifically putting different thoughts in your mind, saying different things, then it kind of changes the energy, and that's what gets amplified. That's what you sort of create a domino effect when you start to have a certain thought, and you start again with like a couple minutes a day or something, because you can't go from having all anxious, fearful thoughts to completely all positive ones, right? In a single day, that's, you can't control that.
What's cool is, you know, a lot of times when people learn like how powerful their thoughts are, they're scary. So knowing that the positive thoughts are more powerful than negative are powerful. And then also what you tapped into is like a foundation of like the laws of attraction. Like, you know, you don't have to know every thought. If in general you're feeling good, that means you're having more positive thoughts than negative. If you can't be in a negative space while you're having like positive thoughts, like to the degree that you're feeling. So if you're feeling good, you're feeling good. You know you're having like positive thoughts. You know you're heading in the right direction. You're attracting more things in your life that you're going to be happy about. You know, and like just that energy of noticing where you are and realizing you can also shift that energy. It's not like denying how you feel at the moment, but realizing, okay, if I am feeling anxiety, you know, why is that? What's the truth in it? And most times it's a lie. It's not something that's happened at that moment, and knowing you have the power to shift into that different energy. I mean, what you mentioned earlier today, which we'll get in later, is like the power of music. Like putting on a song that makes you feel jubilant. You like having a thought
I like that word.
having a jubilant. Jubilant is the word of the day. Look it up. The having like a memory that where you felt so much love, or like you had the greatest time in your life, and you'll tap back into that emotion. So you can shift your emotions to get right back on track.
Yeah, there's a lot of things as you were talking that was just popping up. The first thing was one of the most interesting things I've ever heard was that the feeling, not the thoughts, but the feeling of anxiety and excitement are the exact same thing physiologically. Our heart rate goes up, maybe our palms start sweating, that kind of stuff. It's just the thoughts that we have that have either a negative or positive association with the feeling. And so that can be a good way to just kind of think about, you know, the way you're feeling, you're not denying that. You're feeling your heart rate going, you're feeling yourself maybe tighten up in a little way, or like get antsy or something. And this again just comes to the concept of like excitement and anxiety, but can be different emotions and stuff too.
It's just how you process it.
Yeah.
Like two things. Like that was literally an example that, who was it? It doesn't matter. It might have been Tony Robbins or something. He was like working with two really famous artists. And one artist had ridiculous stage fright, and one artist, you know, when they described how they were feeling before they went on stage, one artist was like, you know, my palms are sweating, you know, I feel like this rush of energy, my heart's beating fast, and you know, I can't go on stage. The other artists, you know, felt the exact same thing, and for them, they were like, that's how I know I'm ready to go. So for one artist was like, I have anxiety, I can't possibly do this. And the other artist had the exact same, but they were like, that's how I know I'm ready to go get it.
Wow. And it comes down to your belief systems, the thought processes you have, and those are difficult things to change. I'm not gonna sit here and say if you're having the worst anxiety of your life, you can just, the first time, snap out of it, say, I'm excited, right? That can be a way to try to get into that though. And again, not denying the actual physical feelings you're having and the physiological stuff going on, but noticing your thoughts and being like, okay, is this actually helping me in this moment? Because you could even say, hey, you're safe, you can calm down, it's okay, or it will be okay or whatever. And that's not denying anything. And so I think people have a misconception when it comes to just positivity. It's like toxic positivity kind of way of thinking of it, or thinking, oh, I just have to, you know, tell myself I'm okay all the time. But it's more about just noticing the thoughts you have and not necessarily believing them. That's the biggest thing, is you can have all these different feelings, but the thoughts don't have to match them like exactly. And I know I'm kind of going on little tangents here. I hope that's making sense though.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, and the main thing, like one of the bigger parts, is when you can take responsibility for like the fact that it's your mind, that and the way that you perceive things, which, you know, may or not be accurate, you know, like all our perspectives are limited. But if you want freedom in your life, if you can just take back your mind and realize how powerful it is, and realize it's affecting every aspect of your life, is a chance for freedom, because you get to take full responsibility for your life. And taking full responsibility for your life ultimately is freedom.
That's empowering.
And with that, you know, it's hard sometimes, because especially, you know, if we ever have pity parties for ourselves, or, you know, if, you know, just be honest with yourself, certain levels of feeling sorry for ourselves or victim consciousness, we don't want to take full responsibility for our lives. You know, like, oh, that person said that to me. But do we have to be affected by it?
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you're not around people that show up to your pity party. Start being around people that want you to be free, because we don't have to be impacted by anything anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can take it in a completely different way and start to reevaluate all the things that we look at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a lot of those things are inherited, and you know, like things that we process one way, like 100 years ago, things that are accepted are completely seen as blasphemous, as wrong.
Right.
Things that were seen as impossible 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's like our everyday life.
That's so
you know,
true.
so your mind is so powerful. So to step back and take full responsibility and like start looking at everything and allow yourself to be a kid again.
Yeah.
You know, like be just all in awe and wonder. And like a huge part of it, does this make me feel good?
Right.
Does this thought like make me feel warm, cozy? Does it make me feel empowered? Does it make me feel enthusiastic? Does it make me feel loving? Does it make me feel kind, compassionate? You know what all the positive things are to come out. And if it doesn't make you feel that way, then maybe that thought is not necessarily useful, you know, for you.
That's huge. And with taking responsibility, we could do a whole episode on that. That would be great. So if you guys want to see that, let us know. But just touching on that for a second, taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself and feeling guilty for stuff.
So important.
And I think that's a huge, like, key point to point out. It's about, you know, reminding yourself you were doing the best you could in the situation you were in for that time being. We are always doing the best we can in each moment, and sometimes our best looks a little better than other times. And so going back to those moments and being like, okay, I did my best, but from right at this point, what am I gonna do to move forward? Am I gonna let that hold me back? Am I gonna let that person, that thing, that situation, and give them my power and give that situation my power? Or am I gonna take it back and run with it and do something good out of it? We've all known those stories of people who have probably the worst things happen to them. They've lost people, they've lost things, they've lost parts of themselves or what they think is themselves, right? And what do they do with it? They create a movement, they create a community, they really just go with that and create something big and powerful and positive. And it's like all the little things that are happening to us on a day-to-day, we could create so much good in the world from using all of those, you know, hard times and really frustrating or unfair situations and the things that, you know, cause us to be brought down a lot of the time.
Hey fam, hopefully you're enjoying the episode. This is Mike.
This is Cass.
This is Mike and Cass.
Vibing out.
Hey, wanted to remind you to join our email list for everything we have going to stay up to date. What else, Cass?
For our programs, and make sure to check out our website, mkvibingout.com, for our merch. It's some fun stuff on there. You can rep us everywhere you go.
Go get it.
Join us there, and please continue loving our episode and enjoy.
Yes. Absolutely. So like that also brings back, you know, like that's such a great point of being easy on yourself, you know, especially those of us, which is most of us, that are critical and hard on ourselves in a lot of ways. Like recognizing the truth and calling it out doesn't mean that you have to beat yourself up. So being more of like a scientific approach, like if you were observing an outcome, you wouldn't be attached to the outcome. You would just notice that's the outcome. Is that the outcome we wanted? No. Or yes, you know, if it's not the outcome you wanted, you go back in, you know, back to the lab and you start again. So like as much as I challenge all of us, including myself and us, whenever I've done like seminars with folks, part of like when I do have people do life inventories is like 30 days of fasting from complaining. So I challenge us for 30 days of fasting from complaining about anything. Amazingly powerful, and learn to laugh at yourself because you're going to catch yourself. See how long you make it. See if you can make it a full day.
Yeah, and you know? When this episode comes out, let's do that. Let's all do this together.
Absolutely.
We'll put a challenge out there for everyone. You can sign up. Don't know exactly what it'll look like because the idea is just coming now, but it'll be up on our social medias and you can tag us and let us know every day how it's going.
Yes.
You know, and like challenge your friends, tag some people. I think that'd be really cool to see how that impacts all of our
30
lives.
days fasting from complaining,
Let's
focusing
do it.
only on the positive, only on the good. And with that being said, to just start bringing some of these things into tangible everyday practice, you know, starting your day, you know, write something by your bed or set an extra alarm with yourself with a message to stop, to be conscious going into your day. All right. So like you want to start your day making decisions, like noticing how you feel. Sometimes,
Intentional.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we wake up feeling great. Sometimes we don't feel so great. If we don't feel so great, taking a moment, you know, to, you know, as we've talked about before, looking at your gratitude list. What are the things that you're thankful for? Making a decision of who you're going to be today. I'm going to be somebody who's optimistic, who's powerful, who's courageous. Making a decision of who you're going to be that today, attaching to all those positive attributes that you want to have with your life, which help to also have positive thoughts. You know, so being intentional every day as you go into your day, that's so important to set your day off in the right direction. So you don't like, you're not just a whim, like blowing in the wind of all the things that happen outside you, combined with your regurgitated thoughts that don't serve you. You know, so be intentional about your every day and have fun with the practice and be so easy on yourself, like you said. You know, have fun with this practice. It's such a great practice. It's so powerful. It's tough. You know, it's very simple in theory, but the actual reality of it, to change your mind and make your defaults exactly how you want to be, it takes a lot of practice. I've been practicing for a long time, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but the things that have happened in my life from being true to these practices have been amazing.
And just be intentional about it. Try your best. You know, that's all we can do. And it's so powerful that even if you, like with not complaining, even if you do it, you know, like 5% less than you typically do, that's gonna pay massive dividends in the end. And so I want to know, with your own life, like, are there any personal examples you have of like maybe specific things that have happened because of the power of your mind, or because of not complaining, or like perspective shift or something like that, where it's been like, wow.
The biggest things have been the things that have been like either somewhat traumatic or like when I've needed to forgive somebody. There's been times like with, you know, my business, like as Cassidy knows, like, you know, having a business is a serious undertaking when you have employees and things of that nature. And there's been times where certain parties or seeming powers that be, you know, were not, I'm trying to think of the most politically correct word to say without being negative. Anyway, basically there were folks that, you know, were trying to end my business and do things to derail my success. And our business is built on service and helping people. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around, why would somebody want to destroy something that's nothing but positive, that's good, that's helping people? Like, why would you do that? It has nothing to do with you. I had a really hard time understanding that and taking that in, because that's exact opposite of my nature. I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to succeed. So to take in that energy was so difficult for me, especially when it seemingly could affect my livelihood and my ability to continue my business. So getting to the point through meditation and thoughts where I could actually forgive
that's hard.
that person and actually send them love, like, and sincerely send them love, was probably one of the most powerful shifts from feeling literally honest. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and like, it's like, you don't play with somebody's money. That's like playing with their emotions. And for certain people, like, all bets are off. You play with my money, you affect my livelihood, then, you know, you get what you got coming to you. And it's like, that's not good, but like, that's part of like the natural reaction is like defense. Like, you gonna mess with me, then, you know, there's gonna be some smoke in the city, you know, type, you know. So to go from that energy of like almost like being hateful. And that's
a hard energy to transmute.
To go from being like
people.
damn near hateful towards somebody to love was was an undertaking, but it was literally a shift from meditation and like thoughts and intention, you know, to be free. And so I got to the point where I was able to actually send that person love. And what happened is nothing to do with that person, but because of the power of the universe, things corrected themselves.
It's so cool.
And things corrected themselves without me doing really anything other than shifting my energy and practicing high levels of faith in the good, you know. And it was so difficult, and those challenges still come up. But at least I have an example, a tangible example, where that absolutely was true.
And it would have been so different if you had gone with that sort of hateful energy. Oh my God! You know, it would have been so different.
No good for anybody. It's like, it'd be like,
it would have felt bad. It would have turned out bad.
And it's
like
the
everything.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, like of like those things. Like, you know, just to keep it real. You know, being a black man in America, not being somebody who's small in stature, you know, who has a presence. You know, people can be intimidated. You know, and people sometimes try to goat you into like the negative stereotypes, you know. So if I react in a certain way, you know, like it's going to be taken different than like a white counterpart. You know, it's like, oh, look, the black man, you know, he's like angry and violent and cussing, you know, like whatever. Look at that aspect rather than, you know, if I gave into that, not only would it be negative for me, it's perpetuating the negative stereotype, you know, and all these types of things, and like I lose, nobody, and it don't win. So to be able to come over to the other side and maintain love, and
that's your power,
and a posture of strength.
Love is your power.
Love is my superpower. It's all our superpower, and it's been the saving grace for my whole life.
Yeah, wow. And that is, I mean, the hardest thing to do a lot of the time, especially when those moments of real frustration and anger come up, or, you know, like deep sadness, anything like that. But it's like the easy option is going along with those feelings and just feeding into them. And they still hurt so bad, but that's kind of the route most of us take by default because we don't think there's another option. But then you can decide with practice, of course, you're not going to be perfect at this, and it's maybe going to take a little bit or a lot of bit of energy and time and commitment and intention, but that's actually the strongest, the most powerful thing you can do is come from a place of love. And that doesn't mean justifying anything that someone else has done, saying anything's okay, but trusting that, one, everything does happen for a reason, two, that you are becoming stronger from those things that have hurt you. And like really think about that for a second. There's so many things within this episode, we could make a whole episode on like this, but think of the ways you have grown. Or I got an example from, it was another podcast I was listening to, I can't remember what it was, but the person was asking like a new mom who was really like afraid of her kid being like hurt and always wanting to protect her kids and whatever. And
the mom,
and they were asking the mom, like, how do you want your kid to grow up? Like what personality traits, what just characteristics do you want them to have? And she was saying, I want them to be confident and courageous and like all these different things. And they're like, how do you become those ways? How do you become courageous if you've never had to overcome anything? If you haven't had challenges that have really hurt you and you've had to get through them. And so it's like all the things we believe are the traits we want to have, the things that make us powerful and strong and joyful are typically from things we've had to overcome in a challenging way, the really hard stuff. And, you know, we can transmute that energy into something positive, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely. And it all is our own perceptions, you know, of our coming back to our mind, you know, and what it is, you know, like the things that we react to, you know, a fear of loss, a fear of somebody been taking it from you, a fear, like a thought process from my perception, but we can change that. And just from my perspective and wrapping it up, going back to love, I go to the point where I try to vet everything I think and I do through love. Like, is this a loving thought? Is this a loving action? Is this coming from love for myself and for others? And so, like with any thoughts you have, if you want to just add love onto it for yourself, even the things that, are negative, even the things that, ways you think less of yourself, putting love back onto that, like, and love is the one cleansing, transcendent power and quality for everything, so to start with love, end with love, live with love, and be love, I think is just the most powerful thing ever.
Yeah, I love what you said about vetting every thought or word you say or whatever. That's reminds me of like a Buddhist concept, and don't come at me, I don't know the exact words that are used, but it's like asking yourself with everything you say to somebody else. I think that it's three things. I think it's is this kind? So is it coming from love? Is it true? And I think the last one is like, is it helpful or is it necessary or something like that? And asking yourself that question every time you say something outside in the world, but also to yourself. Like, is this kind? Is this true? Is this helpful? And if it's not, don't say it, right? Then it's not gonna do anything to help anyone in that situation. So that's a big concept. And did want to throw in, this was kind of the thought that I was having when coming up with this topic and stuff, was just a story of like, again, another tangible kind of way that my mind has been super powerful, and that's come with conscious manifestation. So we're always manifesting things, whether we know it or not. Like, every single moment, it's a manifestation of our minds, right? The things we believe, think, feel, like whatever you see in your life, whether you want to admit it or not, you've created every single thing we've each created in our life, because it's perspective, right? But recently, just a couple days ago, I was like, I want to start manifesting some more money, just see how much I can get, kind of see, it's like a fun process for me, right? And so I go through, when I'm consciously manifesting something, a little bit of a process. Sometimes I'll listen to affirmations, I'll do some meditations, I will listen to certain music. That's been a huge one that you touched on for a second too, about how powerful music can be, which we're gonna do a whole episode on that eventually too, because I think that's a big one. But the day I decided to manifest more money, I had like 3 or 4 instances that day where I was either given money or got like a discount on something, or like things like that, where I'm like, wow, this works. And it's not that those things wouldn't have shown up before, it's just that my energy was like catered in that way and focused in that direction. So first off, my energy's going that way, I'm gonna attract more things that are in alignment with that energy. But 2, it's like I just notice this stuff more. Maybe I would have gotten offered something before, like an opportunity comes up or whatever, and I just don't think anything of it. But because I'm like, I'm manifesting this, then something pops up and it gives me that rush of energy that I'm like, wow, I did this. This is what I created. And it's a really beautiful thing, and that's where gratitude comes in too. Like, anything you notice that you want more of, be grateful for it. Actually take a second to say thank you. Like, just stop and say thank you. If you find a penny on the ground and you're manifesting more abundance in your life in a material way or non-material way, that's still abundance. Anything in your life is abundance. Say thank you to it. And then guess what? You'll get more of that. So I wanted to throw that little story out there.
That's
but
great.
It's been crazy.
This is obviously like this is good. This is a beautiful thing. It's complete free flow. So we go off on tangents that could be like 12 episodes, but we all bring it back together, and it's all thing, And like when she's talking about thoughts, and it goes back to also like when people think about money, think about the laws of attraction, right? So every thought also is a frequency, you know, and so every thought you have is the higher vibration, lower vibration. And as far as attracting anything in your life, you know, it's like you give to receive. You want more love, you give more love to receive love. You give away, and once you get in alignment with the vibration and the frequency of that thought, you know, things tend to manifest physically in your life.
Yeah.
You know, there's literally nothing, you know, when they go to the metaphysics, that it appears in life that doesn't come initially from a thought. And so that's something to research and learn more about. We can talk about this for hours.
Ooh, like, that's crazy. Like, look at everything around you. That was a thought in someone's mind. Like, everything around. That's so crazy.
It is.
That's insane.
It is. It is. I'm good. Are you good for the day? You good?
I think one little thing when you were talking, I know, I'm just having inspiration. So, when you were talking about giving to receive, giving with the knowing that you are overflowing with that, not giving because you don't feel that you deserve something. That's what happens, I feel like, with a lot of people. They give so much because they don't think they're worthy of getting themselves. But realizing, no, my cup is overflowing. I have so much to give because like I have so much love to give because I am love. Like, I can't be anything else.
Absolutely.
So
and
that just popped up.
For sure. Giving, and it's the frequency and energy from what you give from, for sure. Like, anytime you do give and or give, you want to give from the place of overflowing. Otherwise, you're coming from a place I don't have. You know, so that's something to be conscious of. You never want to come from a place of I don't have.
Energy does not lie.
You always want to come from a place that I am worthy, I am overflowing, I have more than enough to give. And that's what I give from. And then, you know, like for those, like when people talk about, like, I don't have any money to give. Like, I've been there, done that, you know, but I have at different points just to get out of that energy of not having. I've given literally my last $20 just to prove to myself that my source is full, that I'm full within that. And you know, if you don't have anything to give, you can also energetically still give that. You can visualize giving a lot and realize that you can give a smile, you can give an attention, you can send loving energy to everybody around you. It's all a circulation of energy that creates tangible items and outcomes in our life. You know, it always comes back to our thoughts.
It's all energy.
Yes.
Yeah. So use your mind to help you rather than to hold you back, because it is so powerful and it can do either. And if you're not intentional about it, unfortunately, this world is kind of catered down a more negative route with the things we're sort of exposed to on a day-to-day in just regular society. So choose for yourself, where do you want your mind to be focused, because that is what gets amplified in your life.
Yes. Just to wrap up what Cassie was just saying, understand that most of the thoughts that you have that are negative are not original thoughts. You inherited those thoughts. Those are original thoughts. We all inherit through race consciousness, the way we grew up, and all things we've been through, a whole accumulation of thoughts. Thoughts that are original that you have are inspired thoughts. So you have to take full responsibility for uprooting them and getting out of your head, but give yourself a break and realize you've inherited these things. And we're walking around with a lot of the things that are illusions that are not good for us, you know. But start fresh, start free, start tomorrow. When you see this, 30 days of not complaining about anything, you know, we're going to do it with you.
And tell us if you're doing it.
And tell us if you're doing it. And also to start every day with the intention of having a great day and having your heart overfull with gratitude and inspiration.
Yes.
We love you. I'm Mike.
I'm Cass.
Mike and Cass.
Vibing out.
We will see you next time. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Peace.